vision. I was taking a flight last year. I was going somewhere in the States, and I had this image come to me, so clear. I wrote it down in a notebook, and it was along the lines of the flare that will come, the solar flare that is coming, is on a par with the opening of the third eye. Almost like like an Etch-a-Sketch as a child. Do you remember those Etch-a-Sketches? You know, when you used to do a drawing, magnetic drawings with iron filings, and you make a drawing.
Oh, yeah. Those
And
are
then
cool.
you could just go, you just used to wipe it clean and start again.
Mm.
Well, very much so that I see that the world that the world that we're immersed in and the world that we're manifesting is going to look very different to people. The world isn't ending, in my view. The world is just beginning. And when the flare and when the energies that are very much part of who we are and part of consciousness actually take full magnitude, and our eyes are opened, or our third eye is opened as such, and we stand in front of the great tree of life as such, and we see everything for what it truly is, then the world won't look the same. And all of those people that were worrying about everything from politics to debt and to money and all the other issues in life, the trivialities, the fine detail, the things that we were sweating over, will seem insignificant, because we will truly stand in front of divinity in that sense. We will see everything as it is. And that's the New Jerusalem. For me, that's the new world. It's not a place. It's not a location. If it is located, it's in the heart of every human being.
Good point.
So and I'm going to talk about that at the convention, and I'm going to talk about a few other things as well. And it should be a lovely day.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward definitely to seeing your talk there, Neil. I can also mention here the website, obviously, for people who want to check out the conference, see the schedule, book tickets, obviously, look at some of the other guest speakers that are going to be there as well. Go to arcconvention.org, where you can read more about all this stuff. It's less than a week away from the time of this recording, so obviously it's the last kind of chance here in one way to get tickets. Obviously, if you're coming from abroad, if you're in the UK or around the Bath area, obviously you can just drop by. But we definitely hope to see you there. Obviously, I do want to give up your website as well. Obviously, neilhague.com, where people can go to check out your galleries, take a look at some of the books and the projects that you've been working on. Really nice. I really like your art style, Neil. It's very distinct, and there's two more questions in relation to that I want to ask you as well. And that's basically what style do you use usually? Do you work with oil, or do you have pencils, or what kind of style do you primarily work with?
You know, I've been through them all. You know, I've used everything over the years, but I like two things now. I like using acrylic on canvas, and I'm also really fond of these wonderful. They're a drawing ink that I get in Europe. They're beautiful colors. So it's basically a water-based ink on paper sometimes, and acrylic on canvas. Stopped using oil now these days. I mean, I've used it, but it's not something that that I tend to want to do. And as for the website, it's going through some great changes, because I've just spent a year working on a whole load of new imagery, and some of it will appear in David's next book, which is out, I think, this year. So there's a whole load of new stuff about to come out. So for those people that have seen the website, it looks pretty much the same. Just hold on to your hats, because in the next couple of months, the website and the imagery on there will be very different. There'll be, I mean, the old stuff will be there, but there'll be a lot of new stuff as well, with lots of limited prints and cards and so on for people to get hold of if they want to. So.
Excellent. Very, very exciting. Again, then the website, neilhague.com. Take a look around and heads up on the update, as it were. One final question for you here, then, before we round things up for this time, Neil. You mentioned obviously William Blake a lot of times. Must be a big inspiration as well. Maybe even Picasso then. But are there any other ones, like in terms of favorites or inspirations from the past? I mean, the mythological record, if nothing else, must be the best source to tip into. But is there any other names that you'd like to give out or?
Well, some of the names historically. I've always loved William Blake, of course. I'm very inspired by Blake for all sorts of reasons. But people like Cecil Collins, a lovely man, a wonderful artist. He was the head of fine art in London at St Martin's for many years until he passed away in the late 80s. His work was truly poetic, really talked about the divinity and the promise of the longing and a promise of a new world. I like some of the Renaissance work as well, Enric. I like a lot of that stuff. Going way back, the Pre-Raphaelites I've always found quite intriguing. I mean, there's a lot of symbolism in there. We could talk about that as a separate subject another time, but there's this whole range of things. And then saying that, one of the stuff that really touches my heart is purely the outsider work, what we call shamanic stuff, and outsider art, which hardly ever gets a look in the academic world because it's not part of that elitist structure. There are thousands, probably millions of artists out there doing wonderful work all over the world, and it's coming from within themselves. It's part of this outsider movement. Creativity, shamanic art, all that kind of stuff. I like Alex Gray's work to a certain extent as well. He's probably more well known in recent times, but there's a whole load of reference material that I go through. I mean, I'm inspired by mythology and of course people like Vincent van Gogh. And it was more of a shaman than most people realized. And we could be here all day. I mean, the list is endless.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's very interesting. Thank you so much for your time, Neil, today. Keep up the great work, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in Bath.
Yeah, you're very welcome. It's lovely chatting to you. So, we'll see you then. Okay, great.
That's our program with Neil Hague. Thank you for listening, and my thanks to the Red Ice team. We have a member section for those who want to have access to even more radio, going back to 2006. Click around in our archive and you'll see what we have. You can also look at our webcasts and our new edition, Red Ice TV, and audio commentary. And of course our films and various video material and interviews. RedIceCreations.com is the website, and we'll be back with more. In the meantime, we'll see you online. Take good care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Red Ice Radio, media for the forefront. We present, you decide. RedIceCreations.com. Do you know about our YouTube channel? youtube.com/Red Ice Radio.